After a couple of days in the St. Louis area, today we continue on Route 66 in Missouri, starting with Meramec Caverns. Then we're going to backtrack to where we left off, Route 66 State Park. We'll buy a new front plate for Pelicruiser in Pacifica. We'll stop by many small towns and points of interest along the way until we reach Cuba, Missouri, famous for its murals, barbecue, and the oldest continuously operating motel on the route. I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah. We're going to be staying at the Meramec Caverns Campground, and tomorrow we'll see the caverns and backtrack, because we missed a couple of things along the way in order to make it here. It is beautiful. Riverfront. The ground may be a little soft for our rear-heavy front-wheel drive Pelicruiser, but I think we're gonna be alright. As soon as I park it, we're gonna get ready because I have a live stream to do. It is actually quite nice. We have some folks fishing out there, and I'm sure you could drop a kayak or a small boat in this river. It is very relaxing indeed after the big city. A little off level, huh? Coming to you live from somewhere in Missouri. Hello everybody, and happy Friday. Where's my intro here? Here we go. It was a cool and foggy morning at Meramec. Let's go see the caverns. Yes, it is a little soft, but we'll make it. I am glad I got these beefier tires. Beautiful campground, by the way. I'll save it for future reference. It rained a lot the day before yesterday, so everything is still kind of flooded. Well, good morning. Today we're visiting Meramec Caverns, so let's check it out. It's supposed to be one of those quintessential Route 66 roadside attractions. Not really, it's a little bit of a detour, but you know what I mean. This was the first cave west of the Mississippi to be explored by Europeans, first visited by a French miner in 1722. Yes, French. We are now in what used to be the French Louisiana Territory, and also the Ozarks. During the 18th century, it was mined for saltpeter, which is used to make gunpowder. And there was even a plant, destroyed by the Confederates during the Civil War. This was also likely and allegedly Jesse James' hideout during the 1870s. In 1933, a more extensive cave system was discovered, and it became a tourist attraction in 1935. And here's a representation of Jesse James' hideout within the cave, although some claim this actually never happened. This is the ballroom, used for square dances back in the day and apparently still used for special events.
This is a pendulum, more specifically a replica of Foucault's free-swinging pendulum. And pendulums are used to measure the rotation of the Earth. As you can see, it's going back and forth now. In about 12 hours, it would be going from side to side. In another 12 hours, it would be going back and forth again. That's actually the Earth rotating out from under it. Now this one is unique for two reasons. Number 1, it is the only one underground in a cave. And number 2, it is the only one out of the 16 in the world that doesn't actually work. Now that's because this was a high school science fair project from 1956, and the boys who made it made a few mistakes. One of them was that they hung it with a cast iron hook, which rusts very quickly in the damp cave environment. The second mistake they made was with this ball. The balls on pendulums are supposed to be 1,000 pounds and made of solid lead. This one is only 98 pounds and is made of steel. Because it's so light, ours just swings back and forth for an hour or two before it comes to a stop. Once you're all done looking at this, you can go ahead and follow us.
We did get the rookie guide, but she was pretty good actually. She may have a bright future ahead. Jesse James, perhaps?
Good look right over there. Now those formations are called soda straws.
Sometimes it is a little hard to hear in these echoing chambers, but I can always enjoy a good cave. Yeah, apparently an episode of Lassie was filmed here in 1966.
That's the only crystals we have in the cave.
I see them there, yeah.
That's fine.
Calcite crystals. Ooh, these are very nice. Of course, we have to admire them through a plexiglass. I guess they don't trust us to behave and not touch them. This is definitely the pièce de résistance. One of them, anyway. So many stalactites and stalagmites and columns, all reflected on the water here. I believe this is called the Jungle Room, named for the sheer amount of rock formations here. These are quite nice. There, it looks so much better without the dirty plexiglass.
When these soda straw formations start to clog up, liquefied acid is forced on the outside, so it forms a stalactite. As the water drips off the stalactite, if it finds a sturdy enough place on the ground, it will form a stalagmite.
As I said, it's kind of hard to understand sometimes. I mean, you can make it out, but anyway, there's really nothing they can do about that. Hang some curtains, maybe? So beautiful, and it seems to go on forever. Everywhere you look, there's another beautiful rock formation. Onward we go. Let me tell you, when I first came in, I thought it was gonna be kind of lame. I mean, we've been to so many great caves in our time. But this one is actually near the top when it comes to formations. And we haven't even seen everything yet. And that's when she turned off the light. By the way, there are several levels to this cave, so it is a little bit of an exercise.
That's actually caused by impurities in the soil when the water goes through it. Okay, so orange over here is iron, this white is pure calcite, and this black over here is manganese, also known as black onyx, its name, Onyx Mountain. Also have these subterranean gardens.
This is when she started playing with the lights, which provides a very cool effect. When it comes to caves, it is incredible how much the illumination actually shapes your experience.
We have Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, blue skies, and my personal favorite, Halloween.
Check that out. Oh, look at that. That is totally amazing. Too bad we're not stopping very long around here. I'm surprised we didn't stop here longer. To me, this is like the second best part of the cave so far. Ooh, I see. They were setting the stage for the light show. Well, that's quite beautiful. As I said, lighting is of paramount importance. Do these look like grapes, maybe? This is considered by some the world's rarest cave formation, called the wine table. It is certainly unique.
If you look on top, you can see 3 stalagmites that kind of look like a wine bottle and 2 wine glasses.
One more look at this singular formation.
That's where the water level was millions of years ago when they were forming.
Very cool. All these grape-like rock formations. I'm impressed. And that is extremely strange now that I look at it more closely. It almost looks like they put it together somehow. I mean, take a look at this thing. Very cool cave. I totally recommend it. It is definitely one of those under the radar and definitely underrated. Moving right along. Ooh, theater. Cool.
So this is our theater room, and we do have a few rules that only make sense. So we have the oldest stage curtain. This is about 70 feet tall, 50 foot wide, and about 35 feet thick. And it's around 77 million years old. Just sit back and enjoy the show.
We finish off with a patriotic movie projected on the cave wall. Oh wait, it keeps going.
First, this is the last item here. It's about 17 feet long. It's the longest in the cave. And when Lester Bill saw it, he thought it was the most evil and vile thing he'd ever seen. So he named it his mother-in-law's tongue.
That pendulum. This video is sponsored by Liquified, created by Matt. Matt's RV reviews, you may have seen him on YouTube. Prime pooping position, Matt. Pretty prime pooping position right here, by the way. Anyway, Matt is an RVer like we are, so he set out to create a better product. Dare I say, the best RV tank product in the industry, and it has like a whole array of products like to clean your toilet for your gray tank as well. But you know, the main thing is to make your tanks smell good. And that it does. I mean, it's an outstanding product for that, but it also breaks down all those solids down there that we don't really want to think about. It is formulated for that. So that's a great thing. Outstanding product, by the way. And starting in September, Liquified will be releasing a special 3-pack bundle with a limited edition pink 32-ounce toilet treatment. They have partnered with Go Gen Go, which is a non-profit organization that supports individuals and families affected by breast cancer, and they will be donating $10,000 to the organization. So go to Liquified, I'll put a link in the description, or go to the Hershey RV show, by the way, I'm going to be there too, and support this great cause. And I want to thank Liquified for sponsoring this video, for their continued support. Well, the cave was great, as you saw. Now we're going to backtrack to where we left off, in the outskirts of St. Louis, so we can continue following the Mother Road all the way to Kansas. Our first stop is going to be at the Route 66 State Park Visitor Center. So here we are, we backtracked all the way here to the Visitor Center, Route 66 State Park. I do believe we have to get back on the interstate to go to the actual park, but this is the Visitor Center. They have an old Mustang there, but this is what I'm more interested in seeing right here. This is the old bridge over the route. And I was under the impression you could walk on this bridge, but no. And this seems to be like original concrete from the Mother Road. And here they have the sign to prove it. And this is where you would cross the Meramec River on Route 66. So that's I-44 right there. Yeah, here's some of the history of the area, and there's Times Beach, which is nowadays a ghost town. Not even a ghost town anymore. From 1932, that was the first vehicular bridge to cross the Meramec River. Meramec, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. Here we have a beautifully kept 1967 red Mustang. Beautiful piece of machinery here. You know, before electronics and computers, this was all mechanical here.
Go back to the highway and get on it, and you come back around this way, and then this is Williams Road. This is the South Outer Road that you take, and then you come into the park this way, and this is not what it looks like today.
No, that's what it used to look like.
That's what it looked like.
Okay.
After the flood, the people already started leaving. A lot of the mobile homes were removed by this time.
There's a lot of information, and he even told us about the Route 66 navigation app. I cannot believe we had not downloaded that. There's also lots of artifacts, memorabilia, as any self-respecting Route 66 museum would. Yeah, we've been to a couple of these places, huh? Of course, you gotta have a neon sign. Okay. 2 neon signs, both in working condition. Now, how much would you pay? Yeah, the gentleman at the visitor center owns this Mustang. And he says that he took it on Route 66. Now let's drive around to the Route 66 State Park, which used to be the location of Times Beach. Now, not even a ghost town. It is completely gone. There it is, on the right, that old defunct bridge. Times Beach used to be a summer resort, but after the Great Depression, it became mostly low-income housing. In the 1970s, the town became contaminated with dioxin, and after the flood of 1982, it was never inhabited again. Eventually, they cleaned the area and built this park that we have here today. I am kind of bummed out. I was looking forward to seeing some ruins or something, but as I said, nothing remains. Let's have lunch. Looks good. Oh, here we go. smoked pork chop that we bought at that place in Georgia. Carol's, was it? And yesterday we made picadillo with some regular ground beef, and then we used one of the sausages we bought at the same place. So let's see how it is. Yep. Very pleasant park with this marshy area next to the river. And at this point, I'm still hoping to find some reminder of the old times beach. But, spoiler alert, there's nothing that we could find. Apparently, nothing remains of the good old town called Times Beach. Anyway, we're gonna continue on the route, which we gotta find the route first. But I got some great information from the gentleman at the visitor center, so I think we're on the right track now. Let's go towards the entrance to the park to see if there's anything else to see, but let me tell you, it seems to be mainly a recreation area for locals to come and bike, kayak, and enjoy nature in general. Well, stopped here real quick because here we have another stretch of original. Well, I don't know how original it is, but let's call it old pavement on Route 66. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to drive on it, but yeah, I think this qualifies. We have grass growing on the expansions, on the concrete. So yeah, original Mother Road. Now let's continue because otherwise we're gonna make it to California for the centennial, for real. Onward we go. The next stop is the Campbell Service Station. It is a representation of a 1950s service station created in a building that used to be a church, actually. Unfortunately, at the time of our visit, it is closed, which is kind of a bummer because it is supposed to have quite the collection of service station items. As we approach the Ozarks, the terrain becomes increasingly hilly. Here we're going to stop at the Red Cedar Inn Museum and Visitor Center. They have the official Route 66 roadside attraction sign, so it must be legit. We are at a town called Pacific, Missouri, with Pelicruiser. The building was originally the Red Cedar Inn restaurant from 1934, famous for their fried chicken, built with wood logs from the family farm to make it look like a pioneer cabin. Cool mural, by the way. Let's check it out. It remained operational as a restaurant until 2005, and today, as I mentioned, it is a museum and visitor center. I guess this is the part that remains from the original restaurant. Well, there's nothing wrong with the license plate in the front that came with the RV, you know, from the previous owners. I kind of like it actually, but I think this would be far more appropriate for our current trip. We just got it here at the Cedar Inn, so let's install it. I love it. Here it says Illinois to California. It's the centennial at 2026, America's Main Street. Get your kicks on historic from Santa Monica, Chicago. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I think they forgot to put the bottom screws, the previous owners. So we're gonna do the 4 screws just to... No, maybe there's a reason why. Okay, now we're gonna be cruising in style. I believe there's supposed to be an overlook here on the top of this hill, so let's check it out. I mean, we're starting to get to that area of Missouri with the rolling hills, and there are actually some mountains around here. Well, here we go. It's officially a Route 66 roadside attraction, built in 1939. It would seem there's a little bit of a hike involved, but I could use the exercise. Check it out. It's a Civil War Site 2. The Confederate Army, under the command of Major General Sterling Price, reached this point on October 1st, 1864. I have no idea how long or how high of a hike this is. Whew. Some elevation gain here, but we're right there. Apparently, this was built as part of a project linking the Missouri Botanical Garden in St. Louis with the Shaw Nature Preserve, at the time called the Arboretum, which I believe it is coming up on our itinerary here. The tower up here opened in 1939, built by the Civilian Conservation Corps. Video surveillance, huh? Where's the other camera? Let's check out the view. Well, that's one big bug. Oh yeah, beautiful views here. I may be overselling it a little bit. I mean, it is alright. Being at an elevated position certainly helps. We have the Meramec River out there and the rock cliff. Well, yeah, that was a pretty good view. There are some bugs like this big. They look like little surveillance drones. Alright, let's get back to the RV and continue on the Mother Road. Yeah, this was totally worth a quick stop. Just a quick climb to get the heart pumping and the blood flowing. Check it out, a round barn. We'll see another one soon. And here's another defunct hotel sign. But there's something else we want to see. Here it is. It is called Shaw Nature Preserve, and it comes highly recommended. But once again, I think it is one of those places that requires at least half a day. And if we want to finish the route before the centennial, we may not have time for this. Let's try and park and find out. Yeah, this Shaw Nature Reserve seems very nice. The folks in there, by the way, super nice guys manning the place, but it would take hours. It's a huge place. Now we know it's there. We'll be back in this area. We'll do it some other time. It's also kind of starting to get uncomfortably hot in the afternoon. The bugs are out, so we're going to a place that seems to be closed, but we're gonna try to check it out anyway. Also, highly recommended was Purina Farms. Yeah, the pet food makers. Supposedly they have this animal wonderland with all kinds of shows and exhibits. Unfortunately, it is currently closed to the public. Only invited media allowed. Another time perhaps. We seem to be striking out pretty bad here. At least, let's get a closer look at what remains of the Wagon Wheel Motel sign. This is a beautiful area. Rolling hills, lush green vegetation. The abandoned Sunset Motel. The also abandoned Zephyr Gas and Café. And if you notice, we're seeing more and more of these non-restored businesses from yesteryear. Unfortunately, this may be a sign of things to come. The farther west we go, the more of these old structures in decay we may find. This is St. Clair, Missouri, population 4,800. And the main thing to do here, well, it is a place to eat. And since we just ate, well, unfortunately, we will not be able to partake. It is called Louis Café, and it is supposed to be a local favorite, famous for its pies. And I was thinking of getting something to go, but ultimately, Well, I was hoping to get something here at Louis Cafe. You know, it's at least a slice of pie. Seems to be a local place, and their pie is supposed to be good, but we're not really hungry, so why force it, right? We know it's here. If we're ever in the area, we'll patronize the business. It's another, Route 66 quasi attraction. We'll continue. We're going kind of sort of towards a town called Cuba, Missouri. That's where we'll probably end the day today. No train coming, let's do it. We are now back by Meramec Caverns, where we started this morning before we backtracked to where we left off. All kinds of attractions. Maybe next time we'll do the zip line. It seems to be a very touristy area. Here it is, the Jesse James Wax Museum. Google says permanently closed, but let's verify. The Creepy Toy Museum seems to be closed too. Well, I was on the fence about visiting the Jesse James Wax Museum, but they made the decision for me. It is closed. Sorry, we are closed today. Which is odd that they would close on a Saturday, but I guess not enough business. And here we have the Antique Toy Museum. This one looks like it's been closed for a while. Yeah, this one I heard about somewhere. Anyway, another defunct Route 66 attraction here. Anyway, let's continue. Yeah, we're totally paralleling I-44 here. For all we know, I-44 went on top of Route 66, and this pavement we're driving on is just make-believe. But it is the spirit that counts, right? This is Sullivan on Route 66, and they have a mural to prove it. Here, towards the end of town, we have a very peculiar-looking motel, the Shamrock Court, from 1948. According to what I read, it was abandoned, but it looks like it is undergoing renovations, so not all is dire and gloomy when it comes to the route. It has this unique stone facade, and for one, I'm glad it's coming back to life. I wish them the best of luck. Maybe they will get lots of business, lots of guests from all over the world during the centennial celebration on Route 66. The next town is called Bourbon, population 1500, which got its name because of bourbon, of course. As the story goes, railroad workers would drink bourbon from the general store in 1850. They called it the Bourbon Store, and the name stuck. Let's stop real quick and see the Bourbon Saloon, although I don't believe it is a saloon anymore. Here's Via Pizza, and they're open, but we're not hungry yet. Here's the Bourbon Saloon, which actually closed at 2 p.m. What saloon closes at 2 p.m.? Anyway, it is nowadays more of a coffee shop where apparently they have live music and food is supposed to be really good and friendly staff. After they saw me lurking around with the camera outside, the ladies who run the place invited me to come inside, and they insisted we visit sometime. They even offered to let us boondock on the property, but we already have a harvest host for tonight. I guess there's not one but two bourbon water towers, huh? Deja vu. There's a winery along the way called Belmont Vineyards, but it was temporarily closed as of the time of our visit. Another time perhaps. route is closed, so we're gonna have to take the interstate. And we're back on the route. Here we are, Cuba, Missouri, population 3356. As we are both born in the island of Cuba, it is really cool to be here. We're getting hungry, so our first stop is going to be a place that I couldn't visit when I was here a few years ago because I was towing the trailer. Missouri Hick Barbecue. It is supposed to be really famous. Even with Pelicruiser, it might be a challenge to park here. Eventually, I decided to take up 3 spaces and be done with it. Let's check this place out. I've been looking forward to coming here for a long time.
Let's check it out.
Missouri Hick's Barbecue on Route 66.
Please wait to be seated.
They have several sauces to choose from.
Got the sampler platter.
Well, it was pretty good. Not great, but good. Right after Missouri Hick, we have another famous roadside attraction here, the Wagon Wheel Motel, Café and Station, built in 1935. It is the oldest continuously operating motel on Route 66. I mean, we gotta stop at least for a minute, right? They've got the old pumps here by the front, and they have a phone number to call when they're closed, but we're not gonna do it. Perhaps someday we should stay here. Make it a hotel night. I mean, it is beautifully preserved, and one of those businesses that against all odds has survived the test of time. They even have an old mechanic shop here and an old rusted out car over a pit. I would definitely like to spend the night here. What a great stop.
But Missouri Hick's Barbecue, I mean, it was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Actually, the star of the show is some of the sauces that they have. But yeah, it wasn't the best barbecue I've ever had by any means. But I mean, it's on Route 66. You gotta do it, right?
Cuba is famous for its murals, so we're going to make sure we see some of those. And yes, the town was actually named after the island of Cuba, where coincidentally I was born, as I said. Here's the car service station, nowadays called We're on 66. We must visit once we find parking. And here's an Amelia Earhart mural commemorating her emergency landing here in 1928. I'm gonna park right here so we can see that old gas station.
Don't quite fit on that one, but it is a low traffic street and I'm just gonna be here for a second. I wonder why in Missouri they are blue and not brown.
Very cool. If I didn't have to drive several miles still, I would definitely enjoy an adult beverage and maybe something to eat here.
And we have some murals. But they recommend that I check out this place called the Rock House. So yeah, that's what we're doing next. And then we're gonna see some of the murals and I'm just a Cuban in Cuba.
Actually, first we're gonna check out the old Cuba one-cell jail, built in 1908.
Cuba jail. How appropriate. Yeah, that's it. If you misbehaved, that's where they put you. And here's the interpretive sign.
I'm gonna look for a more centrally located parking spot so that we can see some of these murals. And that looks like a muffler man lying on his back. I have no idea what that is all about. I'm gonna park here for a moment at the Appliance Outlet Superstore. It is wide open, so I doubt anybody will complain. Well, the town of Cuba is particularly famous for its murals, and here we have one of them. We have several across the street, so let's check them out real quick. And then we haven't got an answer from the harvest host, but we're gonna show up anyway. See, if not, there's always a Walmart. Does this one count as many of the murals here in Cuba? Here's an old tandem bike and another mural. Jean-Pierre and Auguste Chateau. And there is Pelicruiser, our trusty home on wheels. Check it out. Very cool, very well made. Now this is the one you take a selfie with. Oh yeah, this is the one you take a selfie with, and we did. Cuba, Missouri. That's like an oversized stamp. And now we're gonna see if we can stay at that winery. Otherwise, we'll see. Here we go. One last mural before we go. There on the right, that would be the world's second largest rocking chair, and we just drove past it. Let's turn around. Let's stop here at the Fanning Outpost General Store for the photo op. Oh, it is world famous, the world's second largest rocker, according to Google. It was eventually surpassed by a larger chair in Illinois. Maybe I should add my sticker, huh? It is said that it originally used to rock, but they thought it might be dangerous, so it got secured in place. Well, they had to have a mural since we are indeed on Route 66 and the stone throw away from Cuba, the Route 66 Mural City. Almost missed it. And this is the Outpost. Cuba, Missouri. I wonder if they're open. They are indeed closed. Let's continue. What a lovely detour in order to get to our harvest host. Oh no, gravel road with Pelicruiser. I'm sure we'll survive. I think Google took us on one of those dubious shortcuts to save us 30 seconds maybe. But anyway, here we are, finally arriving at Prairie Barn Winery and Christmas Tree Farm, which is a little bit of a detour, but totally worth it. It is through here. Check it out, Sunnybrook. Well, if you didn't know, in the early 2010s, Winnebago bought Sunnybrook, and that was the birth of Winnebago Towables and Minitini. In fact, online I've seen a 1706 FB branded as Sunnybrook. Alright, let's enjoy some wine back here. I have a feeling it is going to be a beautiful sunset over the Missouri Prairie. We struck out pretty badly with so many places being closed. I mean, if it wasn't for the caverns and the murals in Cuba, it would have been a pretty lame day. But the journey continues. On the next one, we're gonna roll into Rolla, where we'll see their version of Stonehenge and eat at the Tater Patch. We'll trespass in order to see some abandoned cabins. We'll visit the Trail of Tears Memorial, Devil's Elbow Bridge, Uranus, Waynesville, Lebanon, Redmond's Candy Factory, a Hubble telescope replica, and Springfield, where we'll have a great meetup and a fantastic cavern, among other things. More old gas stations, a cafe inside a hangar, some Grand Falls, and eventually Kansas, the whole 13 miles of it. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road. On the Mother Road.